Welcome all. Today we will look into the design of couplings. Designing of couplings. Actually, shafts are usually available up to 7 meters length. The couplings are using to connecting different different shafts or one or more shafts together. Then to provide for connection of shafts of units that are manufactured separately, such as motor and generator, and to provide for disconnection, for repairs or alternations, to provide for misalignment of the shafts or to introduce mechanical flexibility. These are the most common uses of the coupling. Then to introduce protect against overloads, then it should have no projecting parts. Then to reduce the transmission of shock loads from one shaft to another. These are the most common uses of the shaft coupling. Then types of shafts couplings. There are two categories of shafts couplings. First one, rigid coupling. Second one, flexible coupling. First one, rigid coupling. Second one, flexible coupling. In the first category, there are again subdivided into two or three different types of rigid couplings are there. Two or three types of rigid couplings are there. First one, sleeve or muff coupling. Second one, clamp or split muff or compression coupling. Then third one, flange coupling. These are the most common types of rigid coupling. Then there are a second type of couplings, flexible couplings. Again, subdivision of these flexible couplings including a bushed pin type coupling, universal coupling, then Oldham coupling. Then this is the most common type of rigid coupling. Flange coupling is the most common type of rigid coupling. Flange coupling, this figure shows an unprotected type flange coupling. Here in this particular figure, we can see that this nut and bolt heads are open to the external environment. That type of flange coupling is known as unprotected type flange coupling. Here again, here also we can see that nut and bolt heads are open to the external environment. This type of flange couplings are known as unprotected type flange coupling. And the proportion of different diameters of the parts of the unprotected type coupling is shown in this particular figure, represented as a proportion of the shaft. Here this part is known as hub. These are also the part of hub. Then these are the flange. This one and this one is the flange, and this particular part is the shaft, and this particular part is the key. And nut and bolts are also shown in this particular figure. Okay, and the second type of flange coupling is the protected type flange coupling. In this particular category, the nut and bolt heads are covered or protected from the external environment. This that covering is shown like this. There is a protective covering for this nut and bolt heads, and this thickness is equal to TP, and that is equal to 0.25 D, where D is the diameter of the shaft. And while designing the flange coupling, we must know this terminology. Small letter d is equal to diameter of the shaft or inner diameter of the hub. Then capital D is the outer diameter of the hub. D1 is equal to nominal or outside diameter of the bolt, small letter d1. And capital D1 is the diameter of the bolt circle, and n is equal to number of holes. Tf is equal to thickness of the flange. And tau s, tau b, and tau k are the allowable shear stress for shaft, bolt, and key material respectively. Then tau c is the allowable shear stress for the flange material, and sigma cb and sigma ck are the allowable crushing stress for bolt and key material respectively. And the designing, and coming to the designing portion, there are distinctive parts for the designing procedure. First one is design for hub, second one design for key, third one design for flange, and finally the fourth one design for bolts. While considering this design of hub means this particular portion of the flange coupling. While considering the design for hub, we can say that the transmitting torque, that torque is equal to pi by 16 tau c into d raised to 4 minus small letter d raised to 4 by capital D. We can treat this hub as a hollow shaft. Okay. Then while considering this hub as a hollow shaft with the outer diameter is equal to capital D and inner diameter is equal to small letter d, we can take this transmitting torque as pi by 16 into tau c into capital D raised to 4 minus small letter d raised to 4 divided by capital D. And the length of the hub, we can take the length of the hub as 1.5d. Here this is the length of the hub, 1.5d in this particular side, and 1.5d on the opposite side also. Length of the hub, and this tau c is equal to allowable shear stress for the flange material. Tau c is equal to allowable shear stress for the flange material, and that is the design for hub. Then design for key. The key is designed with the usual proportions and then checked for the shearing and crushing stresses. The material of key is usually the same as that of shaft. The length of the key is taken equal to the length of the hub. The length of the key is taken equal to the length of the hub. And the designing of key, the key is designed with the usual proportions. Okay, in the design procedure for the keys, we can use this table which is at the page number 69 of KM data book, and the table number 4.1. We can select the width and thickness of the key cross section, while the shaft diameter is given. If the shaft diameter is equal to 6 mm, then key cross section, we can select the key cross section as width is equal to 2 mm and thickness is equal to 2 centimeter. Then for different shaft diameters, different types of different sets of key cross section is available in the table given in the KM data book page number 69. Okay, then design for flange. Here again the torque transmitted is equal to circumference of the hub into thickness of the flange into shear stress of the flange into radius of the hub. The flange at the junction of the hub is under shear while transmitting the torque. This portion is this point and this part and this part is the flange of the flange coupling, and then while transmitting the torque, this part is under the shear stress. Then the circumference of the hub into thickness of the flange. Then this circumference of the hub. Circumference of the hub means the is a circle which having diameter is equal to capital D. Circumference of the hub into thickness of the flange. Into thickness of the flange means this cross sectional area. While we considering that cross sectional area is like this with thickness is equal to the thickness of the flange into shear stress for the flange. Here actually at this portion that shearing stress is acting at this portion. From this portion the failure occurs. So that shearing area is equal to circumference of the hub into thickness of the flange. While in the top view we can see a cross section like this, area like this, and circumference of the hub into thickness of the flange. That will be like this. This area will be like this. This diameter is equal to diameter of the hub. Then this is the circumference of the hub into thickness, that area into shear stress of the flange, allowable shear stress of the flange, into radius of the hub. Radius of the hub means this part is circumference of the hub into thickness of the flange into shear stress for the flange gives the load or force acting. That force into radius will become the torque. That force into radius will become the external torque transmitted. That's equal to pi into d into tf into tau c into d by 2. Then by using this particular equation we can calculate the diameter capital D. We can calculate the diameter capital D. That is the procedure. To design for flange. And finally, design for bolts. The bolts are usually subjected to shear stress due to torque transmitted, as in the case of the flange. The number of bolts, small letter n, depends upon the diameter of the shaft and the pitch circle diameter of the bolt. Here that pitch circle diameter is equal to d1. d1 is the pitch circle diameter, and that is equal to 3d. Then load on each bolt is equal to, we have already know the equation for this load. That's equal to the cross sectional area of the bolt, core of the bolt, or this diameter of the stud of the bolt. That's equal to small letter d1. Then that cross sectional area is equal to pi by 4 into d1 square into tau b. Tau b is the allowable shear stress for bolts, for the bolt material. Then total load on each bolt is equal to this one into number of bolts. Total load on all the bolts is equal to this one into n, and that load into d1 by 2. This is the radius. Then that load will acting at this particular portion, and this pitch circle diameter of the bolt is equal to d1. Then torque transmitted is equal to that load into d1 by 2. Then force into perpendicular distance, pi by 4 d1 square into tau b into n into d1 by 2. That will become the external torque. We can equate that torque T is equal to pi by 4 d1 square tau b into n into d1 by 2. Then from this equation we can find out d1, diameter of the bolt. Then we know that the area resisting the crushing of all the bolts, Okay, here a crushing occurs at the projected area of projected area of this uh, particular diameter. That's equal to d1 into tf, d1 into tf. This this is the d1 and this is equal to tf. Then this particular area is the area where the crushing occurs, where the crushing occurs. Then n into d1 into tf will become the total area of the uh, total area resisting crushing of all the bolts, and that into allowable crushing stress for bolts, that's equal to crushing force. That force into d1 by 2 is the torque, external torque. Then we can equate this equation with external torque also. Then from this equation also we can calculate d1. Then compare this d1 and this d1. Then we can select a convenient diameter. Then these are the design procedure for different parts of the these are the design procedure for the different parts of the flange coupling. In the next class we can discuss some problems related to the designing of flange coupling. Thank you. Thank you all.